Wow, you just decided to buy yourself a copy of Escape from Tarkov. Well, little Timmy, come here. Let me show you something. Look, this right here, this is you. And you're looking like you're trying to at least attempt to enjoy the game. Now, I can easily identify you via the penis helmet, no headset, blank stare on your face, absolute loss of direction, and really no goals or any idea on what the hell you're supposed to be doing during this game. Now, I'm not too proud about what happens next. I'm sure this is a common occurrence for you Timmies.
I feel so gross. I killed him.
I just want you to know I was lying. I totally don't feel bad about doing that at all. And I will 100% continue to do it, so you'll have to forgive me. So if you want to stop ending up like that Timmy or this Timmy right here, I got some tips for you.
Also, real quick little bonus clip of the penis helmet guys duo. This is just too funny not to watch. Bro, what the hell is happening? What are these guys doing? Alright, so the first thing that you want to get into, in my opinion, that's going to help you improve your Tarkov experience here, little Tim, is setting clear and concise goals. Whether they're big, small, kind of somewhere in between, before you ever even go into raid. Now, as you see behind me, or the footage playing here rather, I'm going through my various traders. I'm turning tasks in, accepting new tasks, whether these are primary tasks, side objective tasks. I'm starting to set that footprint before I even get into raid. This is pretty important. It helps you understand what map you need to go to, and it gives you parts of the map that you need to work for. This is going to help us rather than just floating around from objective to objective or area to area hoping to find random bits of loot and not get our head blown off. Another big part to that I want to add on to that is you're not landmark, you're not Pestly, you're not going to be able to go from one half of the map, go through 7 different objective POIs and get out. That's going to just end up in you banging your head against the wall, a lot of frustration, probably dying quite a few times. Take small bites. Maybe set one goal for one task every raid. You know, maybe you have some tasks to scoop up some extra items that can kind of be accomplished on the way while going to do that one goal and that one task. But if you have multiple tasks on one map, like customs for instance, or ground zero, you're going to have quite a few tasks that are going to have you going to various different areas spread out through the map. Work on just getting one done every raid. You don't need to do every single task in that raid. You have infinite more raids to go ahead of you. Now I realize it's pretty basic generic advice, right? But this is the foundation for us to escape alive and inevitably have a better experience. Alright, so moving up from the foundation layer, level 1 there, we're moving to my second tip here. We need to slow down when in raid, guys. The clip that's currently playing now, you can see I just grabbed that wine bottle on ground zero, which I might add, I hate that map, right? I'm sure many of you might be feeling that same frustration. You can see I'm sprinting through like a madman right now. My equipment's pretty bad, right? We'll get to that later. But I've got my task item. I'm hyped up. I'm trying to like fastball sprint right to the exit there, right? Should be slowing down here in raid. There's no reason, there's plenty of time. Use every minute you need to use all your senses. And here's why, right? A couple seconds later, boom, get my head absolutely blown off. I'm sprinting down the middle of the street, making lots of sound. I've seen countless numbers of Timmys doing the same exact thing. Now, when I say slow down, that doesn't mean continue to take these poor chosen paths or walk right down the street at a slow creep pace or like a normal walking pace, right? When I say slow down, that might even include completely sitting still in certain areas, aspects of the map, committing time to evaluate the environment and the situation that you currently have found yourself in. Now, I realize it's not sexy and super high action and octane gameplay there for you, but this is also talking about survival rate and increasing extraction and overall experience in the game right now. You're, once again, not Pestly, Landmark, a big PvPer that knows all the mechanics to the game, and you're probably at a brick wall right now of frustration due to the fact that you are not getting certain aspects done, leading to shortcomings in your traders and overall stash value. And so just again, this new clip playing here in the background. Now I'm on customs. I've moved on from the ground zero area. I have that poster in my bag. I'm trying to go plant it in the big fortress over there where Rashala likes to spawn sometimes with his little goon squad. So I can start unlocking ref quests and eventually start maybe transferring a little bit of stimulus check money from Arena over to Tarkov. But again, I'm really not taking any time to evaluate anything that's going on, right? Now clearly you can't hear the audio right now, but shots, footsteps, explosions, these are all big indicators and cues as to what's going on in the map. If I were hearing explosions over at Fortress right now, it's a pretty big indicator that Rashala and his guys are probably there, right? And that's going to attract quite a few big fish. All the Chads are going to go there. They want that blood in the water, the big loot. Again, gunshots, people putting scavs down anywhere across the map's an obvious indicator of where players might be, right? And that being said, when it comes to the first couple minutes to raid here, everybody's thinking the exact same thing as you. I got these tasks, I want to get them done. Well, a lot of these tasks are all bringing everybody to the same areas of the map. Let these big fish, especially now that we're a couple weeks into wipe, let them all go to their POIs, get everything done. They're going to be pretty fast and efficient, right? They're not going to be hanging out there for the next 10-15 minutes. Dedicate the first 5 minutes to just kind of sitting in your spawn area, maybe looting a couple basic items around your spawn area, and then you can start the slow movement to your POIs. And again, by the time you get there, you're probably going to be about 10 minutes in the raid. That's going to give all those big fish at least some kind of time to do those quick objectives that they're trying to do and get out. And if they haven't got out, chances are good they're either fighting another team or some kind of AI counter, such as scavs, bosses, whatever. And this is going to be audio indications and cues for you that, hey, I can't quite go there yet. All right, so now that we've established, hey, slow it down, let's set these objectives for ourselves, and we'll get there. When we get there, we've got the entire raid to do so. We got to move on to point number 3 here. And this is the equipment that you're bringing in the raid, right? Now, obviously, better equipment, you're coming out with better chances of making it through raid, right? That seems pretty obvious, apparent, right? Risk and reward, all that fun stuff. But some of you are like, well, I'm so broke right now, I can't run anything. I'm just going to run in with a hatchet. It's a terrible idea, okay? There's some reasons why you shouldn't be doing that. First off, moving into a raid with absolutely nothing on you marks you for death via the scav system, right? So you get marked or tagged. That means if you go in there without body armor, weapon, backpack, rig, it's like a combination of the armor, rig, backpack alongside the weapon, you get tagged. All scavs within 150 meters actively come to hunt you down. You've enabled nightmare mode at that point. So you need to be taking these basic pieces of equipment. As you can see in the clip, I've got level 1 traders in this clip. There's some kind of basic kit that you can bring together, and each piece of equipment that you take, armor, headset, guns, bags, rigs, you're increasing the potential for you to get out of this raid alive, whether it's just fighting AI. I mean, you catch one stray shot to the chest from an AI that locked onto you before you saw him, you're dead. That pack armor might be enough to save you from that crappy SP that the scav's shooting. So don't neglect these basic pieces of equipment. You're also taking in slots that are going to allow you to have potential to boost your output at the end of the raid, right? So this is my kit before I go into a raid over in Woods. I'm just going to show you, this is me loading in here. I play with a couple buddies in this case, but at the end of the raid, all my friends have died, and this is what I'm coming out with. Crazy higher level armor, bunch of shooters, helmet, upgraded headsets, extra shooters for extra raids, fuel, plenty of items to sell. Do not neglect your equipment. To add to this, that doesn't mean just take a piece of body armor and a shooter. I highly recommend you always take a bag, those rigs for the slots like we discussed, but also some kind of helmet that allows a headset as well. That little penis helmet we discussed earlier, you can't wear a headset with it. Sound is so important in this game. Please, please, please stop neglecting the headsets. You can buy cheap headsets, level 1 traders. Buy them. Buy the bags. Kill scavs, upgrade your body armor, upgrade your bags. We'll talk about efficient slot stacking a little bit later. Alright, so we're almost through the rest of your training. Moving on to point number 4 in your course today, Timmy. is going to be research the map you're going into. I could pull up like some paper maps here and just kind of like draw little dotted lines and stuff. That's not very engaging video to watch while I talk about this, so we'll just talk and you can enjoy the firefight behind me. Alright, so I say do research. What does that mean, right? That means we need to figure out precisely, once we've determined our primary objective, where that is in the map. So in this instance, I'm combating this group of PMCs. I need to go in this building here for the sake of saving the mole. It's a pretty big important part, right? Okay, I need to go specifically to this part of the map. Here's my extract. This is probably going to be the quickest route to get to that extract once I do my task objective here, and this will probably be the safest route. Might be a little bit longer, but that kind of goes hand in hand back to point 2, right? Slow it down, use all that time. So instead of just maybe barrage sprinting through the middle of the map once I've grabbed my wine bottle, maybe I should have went down the back alley street, slowed down, and then I might have actually got out extracted alive, right? This research here can also be broken down into where to find items, okay? So maybe, yeah, we talked about, have your objectives set, and for secondary objectives for finding certain items. Hey, I need my stash upgraded. Well, guess what? You can pull up these interactive maps. If you just Google interactive map customs, interactive map ground zero, woods, such and such, blah, 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 whatever map, right? And you can filter down to the bare minimum where loot pool spawns at and the extracts. So guess what? Now you can filter all the industrial loot spawns. Hit these loot spawns, grab those secondary packets of screws while you move around the backside safe route to get to your primary objective. Boom, now I'm making it out with screws that I need. Now I'm making it out, have my tasks done. We're progressing ourselves, our stash, our hideout, our traders, our experience level. Everything is progressing. This research part might seem kind of tedious, but it might only take you 2 minutes to watch a little tutorial video on how to accomplish your task that could be accomplished while you're waiting to load in a raid. Guess what? Queues to get in raid are usually I'd say at least 3 minutes, maybe to 5, depending on what map you're on. Google really quick to watch the 2-minute YouTube video on how to get your task done. Look at the interactive map and take 60 seconds to plan out which path you're going to take. You're going to learn where the hot spots to avoid are eventually as you play more and more. Just sit down and take a couple seconds instead of just throwing yourself at whatever way you end up spawning in and saying, whatever happens, happens, right? You're going to gain more meaningful progression doing this. And not to mention, doing this, you can't plan your route to get to your objective area until you know where you spawn, so taking 60 seconds once you spawn in to figure it out naturally forces you to slow down. So you can't, if you're one of those people like me, sometimes I forget that I need to just chill for a second. It's going to force you to stop, wait. Maybe you're not going to get spawn peaked right away because you've delayed yourself, so now the other people that were waiting for you to push out of your spawn feel comfortable enough thinking you're not there now. Or they feel comfortable enough that you're just sitting and waiting, so they roll out. It's a natural slowdown. It's almost like everything's moving hand in hand now, right? We're bringing into a system that's flowing and moving with each other, complementing each other. Just going to take a second here and give myself a little shout out. If you've made it this far, you're enjoying the video, please like, subscribe. I've got more videos coming out with more helpful tips for the game of Tarkov. We'll talk about efficient money making, key making, routes, how to scav properly, maybe a little bit of PvP pointers here. I'm not the greatest PvPer. I'd like to consider myself slightly better than like half the game's population, but the other half maybe on par to worse than. Definitely not top percent by any means, but I can hold my own in a fight at least. So yeah, please, stay connected with the channel here so I can continue to bring you guys information. Alright, so the fifth and final point for this video is going to be efficient use of your slots. That's both in your hideout / stash as well as on your PMC while in a raid. So what do I mean by that, right? Each slot you have in your inventory, whether it's your stash or your PMC, is pretty valuable. You should be always thinking in a money aspect, right? What is the worth of each slot that I currently have? Items in your slot, while in raid, should be priced accordingly. I have a 4x4 tool set. Well, that tool set might be worth 60,000 rubles. Okay. If it's a 2x2 4 slot total square, that's going to give me a total value of approximately 15,000 per slot. If I have a piece of loot that's a 1-slot 20k item, unless I need that tool set for something specifically, I should be dropping that tool set and taking the 20k slot item. As long as I can fill those additional 3 slots with something else that's going to be higher than 15,000. Think of these slots in that way. Think of them as a per slot value. If the items you're taking don't have any kind of functional use, such as hideouts or quest items, think of it purely money per slot. Think of 2x2 items, or 1x1 rather, 2-slot total items. Think of them as how much is each slot costing me to keep this item. Well, this item sells for 30,000, but in reality that breaks down to 15k per slot. It's really not that good, right? Additional to that, you can see me moving loot into a rig here that's stacked into my backpack. This maximizes and adds additional slots. That rig itself there only takes up, what, 3x4? That's 12 slots total. But inside of that rig, you have an additional, I think this one, for instance, is 20 or 24 slots. That means you're able to get more slots. Yes, more weight, which will weigh you down and have its own consequences, but you can easily throw a bag off you in a mid-fight. But now you've added additional slots to this backpack, and if you get out, you can use that rig later on as well if you end up dying somewhere. And you see me throwing away equipment that I can easily buy back as well, right? I'm throwing away guns that I have access to. Prioritize loot that you cannot access yet. Level 1 traders, there's not a lot that you can access, but I'm not stuffing pack armor in my backpack if I can pick up trooper armor, or an AK that's a 545 74U if I have an MDR on the other hand that I can't buy yet. Prioritize grabbing these items that you don't have access to buy. Additional to that, when it comes to your hideout stash, if you're a standard edition user, you don't have a lot to play with. You need to take those items. I would recommend personally rushing the stash upgrade, but you need to take into account what's worth keeping and what's worth selling. Don't hold on to things that you're going to need 10 upgrades down the line because you don't have those slots to keep open, right? Sell them, get rid of them, break it up, and you'll find more equipment, or you'll flee it eventually when you unlock it. Stop hoarding useless equipment. You don't need 30 packs of cigarettes that aren't doing anything for you. Oh, well, there's a quest I need at level 25. Well, guess what? That's way down the line at level 25. You've accumulated 30 packs at this point. I'm sure you can accumulate the rest of the cigarettes that you need later down the line, right? I also recommend getting cases as quick as you can. Scav junk box. Well, it's 1.1 million. Well, guess what? That's a whole bunch of slots inside that junk box. Same as the whole stuffing a rig in your backpack. That junk box, you can dump tons of extra equipment inside. You've efficiently, or essentially rather, increased the size of your stash just by adding that piece of equipment to your stash. It's worth it. You're paying for slots essentially at that point. And that's really going to do it. I don't have much else to add. We'll talk about some other basic tips in another video. Some of them, like I said, we'll do some scavenging tips, how to make money, and maybe some tips on some PvP. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe.